You have already taken the first steps towards providing a quality program for the children in your care by joining the Child and Adult Care Food Program, or CACFP, administered by 4C for Children. CACFP funds child care providers so they can serve healthy meals and snacks to the children in their care. In order to receive funds, you will need to document food, milk, and supply receipts as part of your monthly CACFP claim. This video will demonstrate the 3 steps required for your receipt entry: the breaking down of the paper receipt, completing the food non-food cost worksheet, and entering the receipt into KidCare. Let's take a look at the paper receipts first. Every receipt must display the date, vendor, itemized products, and receipt total. You should note on each receipt how much was spent on food, how much on supplies, and how much of the purchase was not allowed. Those are the only 3 choices you have. Every item is either food, supplies, or not allowed. Please note that in this video and on the claim forms, the terms supplies and non-food and NF are interchangeable, and not allowed is also called unapproved and NA. Before we go further, let's do a quick review of what's considered food, supplies, or not allowed. Healthy food for approved meals is allowed. You've received extensive training on healthy meals and snacks, so we won't spend a lot of time on this. Allowable supplies or non-food items are used for preparing, serving, storing food, and for washing dishes. This chart is a quick reference for supplies. This is not a complete list. Common not allowed supplies are trash bags, gloves, paper towels, wipes of any kind, delivery fees, sales tax, COVID supplies, and office supplies. We know you use trash bags and paper towels in your kitchen, and some of you may recall that these items used to be claimable at 50% of cost. Changes have been made to our policy, and these items can no longer be claimed. As we work through this receipt entry, please remember, your monthly reimbursement amount is based on the number of approved meals you serve to enrolled children. Claiming supplies such as trash bags will not increase your monthly reimbursement amount. We'll review what foods and supplies are allowed or not allowed later in this video. Let's look at a Kroger receipt. In this example receipt, we note the date of July 1st, the vendor is Kroger, and the receipt total is $27.43. Next, identify each item as either food, supplies, or not allowed. On this receipt, $27.43, all the items just happen to be food, with 0 for supplies and 0 not allowed. Additionally, we note if milk is purchased. In this case, 2 gallons of vitamin D whole milk and 4 gallons of 1% skim were purchased. Once a receipt is broken down, it's entered onto the food non-food cost worksheet. Enter the date of 7/1/22. The vendor is Kroger. In the allowable food items column, enter $27.43. Next, in the allowable non-food items, enter 0 or leave it blank. Finally, enter the milk quantities. Gallons of whole milk is 2, and gallons of 1% skim is 4. To enter receipts in KidCare, you'll need to open your web browser. I'm using Chrome in this example. Go to www.kidcare.com and log in. Select the $sign icon and click on Receipts. This takes you to a page showing receipts you may have previously entered. Click plus Add Receipt. This takes you to Quick Entry, the page used to enter individual receipts. Enter the data into the expense detail, milk quantities, and expense items field. In the expense details section, enter the purchase date, July 1st, 2022. Choose Kroger from the vendor drop-down menu. Invoice number is an optional field. Use it if needed for your records. Description is also optional. Some programs find it useful to enter something here. You must enter the receipt total of $27.43. Enter the milk quantities. Gallons of whole milk is 2, and gallons of 1% skim is 4. If you have a child that has a request for fluid milk substitution form on file, shown here, enter the quantity of substitute milk in gallons. As a reminder, substitute milk is entered only when a child has a request for fluid milk substitution form on file. Moving down to the expense items section, enter the dollar amount for unapproved items, in this case 0. Enter the dollar amount for food items, in this case $27.43, and then enter the dollar amount for supplies. Here it's 0. Please note that the fields labor, other, utilities, and mileage must remain blank. When finished, click Save, or click Save and Add Another if you have more receipts to enter. Your receipt entry is accurate and complete when the breakdown of the shopping receipt matches the food worksheet, which matches the kid care itemization. Let's walk through a more complicated receipt entry. In this example receipt, we'll note the date of July 1st, the vendor is Gordon Food Service, and the total is $276.43. Next, we'll identify each item as either food, supplies, or not allowed. This receipt shows several food items totaling $87.92. There are some supplies, non-food items totaling $126.52. There are also items not allowed and sales tax, which is not allowed, totaling $61.99. In this instance, no milk was purchased. Remember, once a receipt is broken down, it's entered onto the food, non-food cost worksheet. Enter the date of July 1st. The vendor is GFS or Gordon Food Service. In the allowable food columns, enter $87.92. Then in the allowable non-food items, enter $126.52. And finally, enter the milk quantities. In this instance, we do not have any milk, so we just leave it blank. And lastly, log into KidCare to enter that receipt. The date is 7/1/22. The vendor is GFS or Gordon Food Service. You can enter an invoice number if you need to for your records, and you can also enter a description if you choose. You must enter the receipt total of $276.43. No milk was purchased on this receipt, so we leave milk quantities blank. Moving down to the expense items section, enter the dollar amount for unapproved NA items, in this case, $61.99. Enter the dollar amount for food items, in this case, $87.92. And then enter the dollar amount for supplies or non-food, in this case, it's $126.52. As before, labor, other, utilities, and mileage must remain blank. Click Save or Save and Add. To help you identify whether an item can be claimed, here is a list for your reference. Of course, this is not a complete list. Healthy food, items used for preparing, serving, and storing food are allowed, as well as some dishwashing materials. Some food items on your receipt will fall into the unapproved, not allowed category. Items such as granola bars, breakfast bars, or Nutri-Grain bars. The sweet treats like Rice Krispie treats, Little Debbie treats, brownies, donuts, cinnamon rolls, cakes, pies, all the good stuff are not allowed. Fruit roll-ups and similarly processed fruit snacks are not allowed. Beverages that are not 100% juice drinks are not allowed. This includes Kool-Aid, Snapple, all the Simply brands. And bottled water is not allowed unless it's noted for infant formula. You can find this list of items unapproved and not allowed in your user manual. Be sure to check your receipts closely so your claim is accurate. Additionally, some supplies on your receipt will fall into the unapproved or not allowed category. Supplies such as sales tax, cleaners, bleach, disinfectant, mops, etc. are not allowed. Hand soap, hand wipes, hand sanitizer, and other COVID supplies are not allowed. Laundry detergent and supplies, office supplies, computers, and equipment are not allowed. Refer to the list of unapproved non-food supplies in your user manual. Again, please be sure to check your receipts closely to avoid claiming these items. Your receipt entry is accurate and complete when the dollar amounts on the shopping receipt match the food cost worksheet, which matches your kid care itemization. Refer to the allowed, non-allowed chart found in your user manual to avoid claiming unapproved items. And remember, the dollar amount of food and supplies you claim does not affect your reimbursement amount. Reimbursement amount is based on the number of approved meals you serve to enrolled children. I hope this video has helped you better understand the process for receipt entry, saving you time to focus on child enrollments and menus while increasing your monthly CACFP payments. On this example receipt, we'll note the date of 7/2/22. The vendor is Sam's, and the total is $395.40. Next, we identify each item as either food, supplies, or not allowed. This receipt shows several food items totaling $245.23. No supplies or non-food items were purchased, so zero. Several not allowed or unapproved items plus the tax equals $150.17. In this instance, no milk was purchased. Now that this receipt is broken down, it's entered onto the paper Food Non-Food Cost Worksheet. Enter the date of July 2nd, 2022. The vendor is Sam's Club. In the allowable food items column, enter $245.23. Since no supplies were purchased, leave allowable non-food items blank. And because no milk was purchased, leave the milk columns blank. And lastly, log into KidCare to enter this receipt. For expense details, the date is 7/2. The vendor is Sam's Club. Remember that invoice number and description fields are optional. You must enter the receipt total of $395.40. Because no milk was purchased, leave Milk Quantities section blank. Moving down to the expense items section. Enter the dollar amount for unapproved NA items, in this case, $150.17. Enter the dollar amount for food items, in this case, $245.23. And then enter the dollar amount for supplies or non-food, in this case, it's zero. As before, labor, other utilities, and mileage must remain blank. Click Save or Save and Add.